You have helped me go to bed earlier, and I think I've helped you go to bed later. You know,
yes,
I
you
think
have.
when we met, you were ready to go to bed at 8, and I was going to bed at 12. So now we're like 9:30, 10. You know?
Well, I didn't go to sleep at 8, but yes, I was in the bed at 8. Yes.
You were.
Yes.
You were wind down, and that was it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 8
Everything was
o'clock.
later.
Yeah, I was definitely in the bed. I probably wasn't asleep at 8, but I was in the bed at 8.
Yes. And you definitely have pushed me technology wise. Sometimes I
Yes.
still struggle with everything being automated. So, welcome to the 38th episode of Love, Growth, and Narratives. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Fredrick.
And today we're going to be talking about 4 months of wedding bliss or not. Right? We're going to talk about we're going to talk about what it's been like, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, what we've learned, what we still need to learn. We're just going to give you a little bit of insight and kind of hash it out amongst ourselves, like just where we've seen ourselves go in this amount of time that we've been together. And hopefully those of you who are either been married a long time, you're getting married, or you're newlywed, you can get something from this, or you're single and you're hoping to one day get married, or you're divorced, right? So everyone, you know, take a listen and see what you think. We're just going to be talking about what it's been like for these few months of being together, and just being open and honest about it. Are you ready for this conversation?
Yeah, and at this point of recording, we're at around 3,200 subscribers. By the time it airs, hopefully we'll be a little bit more than that. But we really appreciate, you know, everybody tuning in. We're getting more and more comments. We really appreciate the comments. We've gotten some pretty interesting ones. And we really enjoy the engagement, and we hope that we're bringing value to everyone with our discussions. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'm ready to get started.
Okay, we're gonna get started.
So, in our 4 months of marriage, I've had many different feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought a lot about because I have friends who've been married anywhere from 15 to 30 to 34 years of marriage. And so I've been able to hear different things from different people.
Yes.
I remember back when they first got married, and I would ask them, like, what's different afterwards? And some of that has rang true and other parts haven't. With us being so much older than my friends are when they got married, being in our 50s, I think we've had a lot more experiences. And you yourself, you know, being divorced twice, that's a totally different experience from me, where I've had, you know, a few failed relationships, but totally different situation. And coming into this in my 50s, it's actually been better than I thought it would be. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Right.
Like, we get along so well, and that has been really nice. And when we do have a problem, we talk about it, we immediately fix it. I don't think we have too many things that are, you know, under the radar. Right. Once we got married, we stopped going to the counseling. I think we want to start it back.
Yes.
But before we got married, we were going to the counseling, and we were, you know, things were coming up that, even though we talk all the time, we do our 3 questions, weren't coming up.
Yes.
In that work. So, but what I find, one thing that someone said to me is that you feel more secure. And I do feel that security, but I also feel that security because of who you are, not just because we're married. You always, every day, make me feel secure and loved and cared for, and I can trust you. And every day since the day that I met you, we've been partners, and you've never gone off track from that. And so that has been really helpful. What about you?
Well, I tell you, you know, because I've, you know, been married twice before, I was nervous going into this relationship because I know my own failures. I know I think about my own flaws. And so I had a fear of falling into complacency and being comfortable. So that's something that's been in the back of my mind. One of the things that's helped me with that is you, because you're conscious, you're constantly checking in with me. You know, how are you doing? Is everything okay? And that's wonderful. And because I can tell you honestly how I'm feeling, and the days that I'm not okay, we can actually have that discussion. Um, there's just, for a man, I would imagine it's great for a woman too, but I've never been a woman, so I can't really,
You haven't.
I can't speak for that.
You didn't go to school and come back a woman.
No, been male my whole life, but for a man to be able to be vulnerable and not feel like it's going to be weaponized, not only feel that it's not going to be weaponized, but feel that it's going to lead to something warm and loving. It's awesome. And so when you come to me and you're constantly checking in to ask me how I'm doing, and I can tell you how I'm doing, and I can talk to you about these things, it's a wonderful feeling. And I can, also try to check in with you and get to find out what's going on with your day, and enjoy the stories about what's going on with the kids at school and stuff like that. It's easy because I just enjoy you, so that makes life so much easier. But I try to be mindful of too much comfort and too much complacency. And so with that, I want to make sure that I'm always, that I'm always being loving. I mean, it's not hard to do because you're a lovable person. So that's not hard to do. But I do fear from my previous relationships becoming complacent, but it hasn't really been a problem.
Yeah, I don't see it at all. I do worry about it for myself though, right? Because I'm used to first only child, didn't grow up with my dad, wasn't any males, too many males I could count on like growing up, as a child. So I'm used to doing everything.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say I'm strong and independent. I don't see that as a negative.
No, it's not.
But it's also nice to not have to do everything. Right. And it's super amazing to not have to do everything. And also not to take away the fact that I can do these things,
Yes.
and not to look down on me for doing it, or, saying that I'm a male I'm in my masculinity because I know how to do stuff for myself.
Yeah.
But I do worry sometimes that because you're so like, you'll step in, even when you don't have to, that I'm worried I'll get too comfortable and become like lazy, and
I don't worry about that.
You don't worry about that? I worry about it because I feel it a little bit where I'm like, oh, I should be doing that. Oh, I should be doing that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the last couple years have been so intense that I just like, oh, I just want to breathe, but I know I need to get back on it, but I just appreciate that when you can see that I'm low, you step in, no problem. You're like, you need to rest. You need to lay down. You've been talking with kids all day. Go sit down. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. And it's something I could totally do. It's something small half the time. Going across the street to pick up some medication. You're like, no, I got it. You know what I mean? Like, sit down, relax. And I appreciate that. That's been like a really nice thing in being married. And with that said, I'm so used to being by myself. Yeah. Right. And I lived alone. I never lived with anyone other than my mom before. And then I lived alone for 20 something years. Yeah. And I'm an introvert, although I think I'm breaking out of it a little bit. I'm used to like just silence. Yeah. So like when I come home and then it's like time to talk and engage and the dog and it's fun conversation. Like we're laughing and all that. But if I'm perfectly honest, like I think about somebody, I may have mentioned this before on another podcast, but I saw on something on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, and a guy was saying that being married is having to explain what happened over and over again. And what he meant by that was like, let's say we're in different rooms and let's say I drop something and it's loud, right? If I was by myself, I drop it, I pick it up, that's the end of it. Right. But if there's someone else in the house, what's that? Are you okay? What happened? Yeah. You got to explain and you're like, oh my God, I just dropped something. Why is it a full-blown conversation? Yeah. But it's funny, right? But those little things you don't think about, right? Or talking about what's for dinner. What do you want? What did you get? What do you feel like? It's like, I used to laugh at my friends when I hear them on the phone with their husbands going back and forth about what was for dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here I am doing the same doggone thing. You know, it's funny. It's funny how conversations change and how things change.
It definitely does.
And how you got to think about that other person when you're going to do something, but not in a negative way. Not like, oh, I can't do it because Freddie not going to want me to, or I can't, or I got to, it's not like that. It's just out of consideration. It feels more like that. And I don't know. I mean, it's just something to get used to.
Yes.
Like, I won't sit here and say that one or the other is better or worse, right? Like, I can honestly say that in my single years, I had fun and a good time and traveled and, and then there were some really sad parts of it that I didn't like. And then being married, although it's only 4 months, we've been together for, over 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be with someone that I get along with, that I can count on, that counts on me, that doesn't pull me and wear me down.
Yeah.
That's a joy, so home life.
Although I think sometimes I wear you down in conversation. And a lot of it is that I have a fear of going down rabbit holes of thoughts, because I know I have my biases, and so because I know I have them, I constantly try to challenge them, and so if there's something that I've been reading about or watching, and I feel that I'm getting too hardened in my thought process on something, I need something that's going to snap me out of it, because I don't like being too biased. I like being nuanced.
Right.
And so sometimes I can tell when I engage with you, and sometimes in deep conversations, you have this look like, oh my God, I've just come home from dealing with a bunch of 7-year-olds and their parents and the principal and all the teachers, and you want to talk about, so I know sometimes, and you humor me, and I appreciate it, but and so sometimes I'll just go and call Devon or somebody else, but I don't like. I don't want my biases to be unchecked. I don't like my biases to be unchecked. And so I'm constantly looking for something to challenge my bias, because I want to see another point to my thought process. But unfortunately, sometimes I catch you at a time when you are like, come on. Can we talk about this in the morning?
It's not quite that. It's just that I've been talking all day, problem solving all day, and, having to switch up my mood 500 times a day. And it's like, I just need like quiet. So you'll see me like sit in the car. But I did that even when I lived alone.
Yeah.
Because something about coming in the house, whether there's people there or not, you got to start dealing with life. But in my car, it's just me, my music, or if I'm on the phone with a friend, you know what I mean? I just kind of get lost in the world, out of the world for a minute.
Yeah.
And so I've always done that. I've always done that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I always used to just drive out to Santa Monica and blast the latest music and come back and just be like, you know what I mean? Any time of night, which I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah.
But not because I'm married, but just crime. But but I used to do things like that. It's just different. It's different, but it's nice, especially if you have a really good person. I really hope and wish that, more women would experience someone like you, and just feeling like I don't have to pretend or water myself down to be with you at all. And I hope you don't feel that way either. It's just, that is like the biggest thing.
And I wish more men could feel what I get to feel. I still, some of my friends are, they talk about, not being able to be as vulnerable as they want to in certain relationships. And for me, I tell them, you're in the wrong relationship. It's just really that simple. You're in the wrong relationship. It's just really that simple.
Yeah.
you're just with the wrong person.
I think a lot of people don't realize that because so many people might be with the wrong person, or maybe they're not the right person themselves. And I'm not saying I'm all right and great. Like, you show me a lot about what I need to change and what I need to do and ways that I could be better. You know, some really honest conversations that you've had with me about certain things. And the way you do it is not, you know, accusatory. It's like, have you thought about, you know what I mean? And you give me things to think about, or you send me an article or a podcast or something like that of something to think about. It's just really, really refreshing.
But I love change.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that, you know, once you see the other side of it, it's a wonderful thing. You know, and I think that part of what helps our relationship to work is the changes that I've been able to make in myself leading up to us meeting. Because I don't think 5 years ago or 10 years ago that I would have been right for you. You know, there were critical things that I saw, critical flaws that I saw in my character that I had to really work on. And there are still flaws in my character that I'm continuing to work on, but there were some that I really had to fix.
And I would have been trying to change you. That would have been what I would have been trying to do. You know what I mean? And now I don't need to. Now it's more like just, we could talk about certain things, and if it changes, it changes. It doesn't, it doesn't. But you're also not a person who's so far off from what I want anyway. So that makes it easier.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we talk about some things that not quite challenges, but things that we have to keep in mind, I think we talked about this a little before, our parenting style is different. And I'm a step parent, of course, so that makes it different for sure. But our parenting style is different, but yet we still talk about certain things together, and we try to find a way to make it work and do what's best for Joseph, you know.
And what's interesting is your parenting style. I was thinking about this the other day. It fits more the way I was with my older kids. And I think maybe as I got older, I got a little softer or something. I don't know, but you know, but yeah, things changed or something. But yeah, with my older kids, I was a lot different. And who knows, you know, I probably attribute that to a lot of different things. But yeah, it is different. But I need that difference. I need that challenge. You know, because I know that I don't do everything right. And so I need someone to, hey, you didn't tell them about this. Hey, you didn't hold them accountable for that. I need someone to correct me when I'm wrong. So I appreciate you do that. And I appreciate the way that you do that. You have the way you push back is just so awesome. You have such the
Are you about to tell the story about the nail salon or something? Remember you said
nail salon.
Remember when we that's when you said you were worried that I was going to be too soft.
I do remember the conversation, and I do remember fearing that. I was like, man, she's kind of a pushover. But then I realized you're not a pushover at all.
Absolutely not.
You are absolutely not a pushover. No. But it's just the way you push back, and you're very firm about it. But you're nice and calm when you do it. And you're actually more effective when you push back because you're so kind and calm when you do it. And it actually makes me want to listen more because you do it so lovingly instead of what I'm, used to. And I'm not going to try to imitate that because I might piss some women off, but but the way you push back is the way I wish more people would push back. It's in a kind and loving way where it's kind of like it stops me when you push back. It stops me in my tracks. It really does. It's like, whoa, So it helps me. It forces me to really rethink what I'm doing, and it does make me better. So,
and your pushback helps me as well. I'm not used to a lot of pushback. You know what I mean? So you're helping me get used to, the pushback. You're helping me with that. And so, and not to take it so personal, because I'm used to everything like falling on me. And it's like, oh, someone's criticizing me. I'm already doing everything. What do you want from me? But I realize that, everyone can use, constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
And so, it is helpful. It is the way that you do it is helpful as well. Like, and you always back it with all these different people that you listen to and read about and all that stuff. And so that's really helpful. I appreciate that a lot. You have helped me go to bed earlier, and I think I've helped you go to bed later.
Yes, you
I think
have.
when we met, you were ready to go to bed at 8, and I was going to bed at 12. So now we're like 9:30, 10.
Well, I didn't go to sleep at 8, but yes, I was in the bed at 8. Yes.
Yes, you were.
Yes.
You were wind down, and that was
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 8 o'clock. Yeah, I was definitely in the bed. I probably wasn't asleep at 8, but I was in the bed at 8.
Yes. And you definitely have pushed me technology-wise. Sometimes I still struggle with everything being automated, but it is cool. Down in my car now, like what? But you've definitely pushed that and introduced me to that and opened me up to that as well. And I think you helped me with my thought process about men. Like, I still feel that, men have a lot of work to do.
Oh, we do. Absolutely, we do.
Boys and men.
Absolutely, we do.
100% think that
absolutely
the whole world would be different if men did the work that they need to do. But I've always believed that there were good men out there, even though I was having trouble in my mind finding one. You've just shown me, and I think lots of people and kids, my students, coming up there, helping them, like you're counting with them and doing all this kind of stuff. I got to tell you, I've been teaching for 30 years, and I've had maybe 2 dads volunteer in the classroom, and that's people who have kids in the room. So it's so refreshing, I think, to see someone willing to do that. I mean, I've dated other people who helped me up at school and stuff, but not necessarily with the students.
I always thought that was fun, though. I never looked at that as sacrifice. I mean, hanging out with the kids and helping them with their schoolwork. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I don't.
I'm glad you do, but it helps the marriage. Though is what I'm really, trying to go back to, like all of these little things, like taking an interest in what I do and what I'm interested in, and the fact that you have the time to do it. I understand not everybody has the kind of time that you have to do those things, but I just appreciate that you do it. It means a lot to me, and it makes me feel closer to you, and it makes my job feel easier and better. And knowing that, if I don't have any volunteer, I know I got you. You know what I mean? So, especially during times where it's like crucial to get like that extra help. I think that, it's just, I'm rethinking everything. Like, the way I do things financially, like I'm just feeling like even more of a grown up, because now there's more lives that I'm responsible for. So you definitely move differently.
Yeah, and now you're a dog mom, and that's and you've really taken that on.
Yes, and that's not to be, don't think lightly about that. I mean, I don't know if everyone's dog is like this, but he's pretty high maintenance, right? And he's I'm his emotional support. Like, as soon as I get in the house, as soon as I sit on the bed, here he is, like smacked up right against me, So it's cute. I like it, but there are times where I'm like, no one talk to me. Don't rub me. Don't expect me to rub you. Just give me a minute.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's like, no, you've been gone all day. You're gonna rub me.
But that's been fun too. That's exciting, and just having to manage my life differently is just making me, I don't know, it's making me better, definitely making me better. And I'm not going to sit here and like put down being single either. I hear some people like, when I was single, like as if it was all bad. I mean, maybe it was for some certain people, you know what I mean? But I think I had like a pretty full life, And so, there are some things that I like us to do more as a couple. I mean, it does feel like we're always busy. It does feel like it, right? Every weekend it's something going on. But I do want us to do more like fun things that are recording the podcast isn't fun. But
we haven't been going out as much lately, and so we got to get back to doing that.
And we have a couple things planned that we're going to do. So that's exciting, and we're going to travel soon. And so I'm looking forward to, all the excitement and many more months and years and a lifetime with you.
Yeah. got some concerts coming around.
Yeah, that's right. We have 3 things planned.
Got the, Roots picnic,
Yeah.
which I'm really looking forward to. We went last year.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Right.
So
we have something for March, April, May. I mean, big stuff. I feel like,
so that's a lot of fun. But I know that you get anxiety about, oh, it's only been 4 months, and you still have this waiting for the other shoe to drop mentality, and
it's not as bad as before, but I do worry about little things, right? Like we got this huge bed, that splits down the middle.
Yeah, it's a split
right?
king.
Yeah, and so we can, manage our own sides of the bed and stuff like that, but it makes us further apart in the bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we used to like play footsies and all that, and now you gotta like really go across yonder to, touch feet.
Yeah.
So that little stuff like that, like I notice is different, where before we were like always touching, you know what I mean? It's just little things like that. Little things like that, if you don't pay attention to them, they could turn into bigger things. But
yeah, as long as we do a good job of paying attention to things, that we'll be fine. As long as we continue to do the 3 questions, we've missed them a couple times, and we've done a good job of really checking in and all of these kind of things and working on ourselves, and
right.
So it's been great.
And I know I could be more supportive, more helpful with the podcast. Like, Freddie puts in a lot of time, working on it after we recorded, coming up with the ideas. I mean, we both come up with the ideas here and there, but you kind of do it a little more than me, if I'm being honest. And, all the editing and all that work, I know it's a lot of work. And I'm just like, when can I take the time? Because for me, it'll be work all day, come home, and then do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that when I do it for school, because you helped me tremendously do the Black History Month program. I'm like, woo, this is a lot of work. Like I'm exhausted after doing a whole day of work and then coming home and doing that. But I do want to do it though. I do want to be more helpful. It might slow up getting things out to you guys, but I do want to learn that and get better at it, but
no, it's fun. It's fun. So we'll get better at splitting up this stuff, and one day, hopefully it'll get big enough where we can get someone to do this for us.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And have a space to do it in where we don't have to redesign.
We don't have to clear our dining room to do this, but for now, this really, this does the trick. So
yeah, it does.
We get to show off your mother's artwork and stuff like that. So
does.
But
it is really exciting. It's fun. Like I'm always looking at my ring, and I'm always thinking about what it symbolizes.
Yeah.
And I look at you and yours. Like sometimes when you're just talking, I'm watching your hand, and the ring is on it, and I like what I know that it means, and I like that you wear it. know, and I know it's not a big deal if you forgot one day, or if I forget. I typically don't forget, but like I'm wearing my fake rings. I left my ring at my mom's house, but I like that you wear it and you honor it, and I know it means a lot to you.
It does,
and it's special to me. Like I'm still feeling the the little giddiness because we're new, and when I look back at some of the footage from the wedding, like it just brings everything back, and I think it's important for people to look back at that stuff often.
Yes,
to remind yourself why you did it, or the joy that it brought you that day. And maybe rekindle if something's missing in your relationship. Yeah,
and it's cool because, a good friend of ours who was actually the DJ at our wedding, DJ LG, he's constantly, posting, before and after pictures with he and his wife that are.
Oh, yeah, they just celebrated
29 years.
Yeah.
And they're still the best of friends, and they're constantly posting pictures, and
they're so supportive of what each other does.
Yes,
which is vastly supportive. Different.
Yes,
right, and both very busy things.
Very
busy. I can see it. I'm always watching people on how they move and how they talk about each other. Just how they move, everything, and I'm like, I still see a lot of love there, a lot of connection, and just how amazing they look now. You know what I mean? It's like, Ooh, they really, because
They
sometimes you can see like a person got worn down in their,
they
relationship.
definitely are the exception, because I've seen so many couples where, okay, they've been married for a lot of years,
Mhm.
but it's like, have you? You've been married, but
Yeah.
have you been in love for this many years?
Mhm.
It's like you just kind of put up with each other. Whereas, with them, I mean, they love each other. They're really close.
Mhm.
They're still supporting each other. They're really tight, and how they make that work, that's just awesome.
Yeah,
It's just it's inspiring.
it is. It definitely
Really
is. I
is.
think we have a few people around us that, is very inspiring.
Yeah,
So,
we do have a few of those, and um so when you talk about them being married 29 years, that's something to celebrate. But when someone says they've been married for a long time, just by virtue of saying how many years, it's not something to celebrate. Just the matter of time span. But it's like, but when you see that someone's actually been close, they've gone through and done the work, and they're close with all those years, that's something to celebrate.
yeah, it is really nice to see. And I was just thinking the other day about that whenever I think about how long we've been married, I was like thinking about people who don't even make it this long.
Yeah.
Right? Like what was it? Kim Kardashian was married for like 17 days or something wild like that. And then other people like 2 months, one
Yeah.
month, or 6 months or a year. And
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what was that like? Did they ever
Yeah.
enjoy themselves outside of the wedding night? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like what was going on there? But I'm just so glad we don't have to worry about anything like that.
Yeah,
You
and I think of like when I was younger and I'd see people, getting married a third time, and I used to tell myself, well, if you got divorced twice, the problem is you.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone after having been divorced twice, I'd say, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It is you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me. Yes, it
Yeah.
absolutely was me.
Mm-hmm.
And so just going through the process of saying, okay, um, I still feel like there's a lot I can give to someone.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have changes. I know that I can evolve. I have time to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm healthy enough to evolve. So, hey, let's keep it going.
Right.
And then when I met you, that just energized me even more. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Anything that we've had to, mountain we've had to climb, we've climbed it together.
Absolutely.
And like we do most things together.
Yes.
Right. And it makes it just so much easier. And, sometimes the both of us, we're both like, we want to please the other person. So it's like, what do you want to eat? No, you want to eat. You want to go home and eat? You want to stay out and eat? And we're going back and forth for like 15 minutes. But, that's
Yeah.
because we just want to make the other person happy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Every problem is a group project. That's
Yeah.
what I love about it.
Mhm. I love that too.
That's what I love about it.
I do. And I'm
Yeah.
excited for our 1 year, anniversary, which will come faster than we know it. But
Yes.
I can't believe how many months it's been so far.
It'll be 1 year soon, because you'll realize in your 50s, years go by quickly.
Yes.
You know?
They absolutely do. They really, really do.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you got any final thoughts there?
Just those of you who are thinking of getting married, just remain true to yourself,
Yes.
and also demand that your partner, respects you.
Mhm.
You should have to demand that. It should be an automatic. But if it's not there, then start with that,
Mhm.
above all things, in my opinion. And enjoy that time together. Be open-minded. Be open to the change, because it can be hard, especially if your situation was like mine. But if you've been married before and it's, not, and I think kids in the mix is probably, we have older teens, so
Right.
it's different. But if you have like little ones, that could be, sometimes you got to really carve out time for each other. We don't have little kids and we're like,
Right.
let's make sure we do something fun. Like we have to make it a point to date. So just keep dating your partner and, enjoy your time with them.
Yeah, and I think not just with the demands you make from your partner, make demands of yourself.
Yes.
I think it's critical that you make demands of yourself. I see so many people on social media and everything else talking about what they want the other person to do. What are you willing to do? What changes are you willing to make? You know, and like I've said, you know, so many times, why would the person for you want you? So sometimes you got to ask yourself that question. And so just, you know, what are you willing to do? I've got to earn this woman every day. And that's the way I feel when I wake up in the morning. I want to earn her every day. And I want to continue to feel that way.
Yeah, and he puts that on himself. It's not me saying, what are you going to do for me? Like, yeah, Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? No, it's not me saying that. It's him. So, you know, that's what's great about it.
Yeah. All right. So as we wrap up this 38th episode of Love, Growth, and Narratives, again, I'm Fredrick.
And I'm Tiffany.
Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Take care.